it's a Thanksgiving Super Bowl. Here at Super Bowl 46, we got Thanksgiving Super Bowl. Coming down, it's the turkey, it's the chives, it's the stuffing, it's the batter. It's coming up, it's the Thanksgiving Super Bowl. Shoving up your asshole. Oh, lots of stuffing up your asshole. The dreams. I get stuffed like a turkey every night and roasted while my family looks at me. And they lick their lips and they have that electronic slicing wand that they have at fancy Thanksgivings, and they're slicing slices of me. I'm like, Grandma, don't take out the delicious stuffing. And she's like, I can't hear you. I'm salivating too much. Thanksgiving Super Bowl, getting eaten by your family. Honk, 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 Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for, Stephen?
I'm thankful for the pandemic, calling out the weak people, making the weak people die, and now we have a stronger society as a result, much stronger, much more unified.
Are you just seeing like Margaret Sanger in hell, her tear dripping from her face? Eugenics has finally happened on a large scale.
No, they're trying, though. They are trying with the eugenics. I was reading an interesting article.
Who's trying with the eugenics?
Everyone in the West. They're doing eugenics.
What you talking about?
They're eliminating, they're trying to get rid of stuff like Tay-Sachs disease, which is a terrible disease. It should be gotten rid of. It does qualify as eugenics.
Yeah. But eugenics is when you want to get rid of the bumps in the nose. That's bad.
Well, yes, but it's... so I was reading a very interesting article in The Atlantic called The Last Down Syndrome Child.
About the last Down syndrome child, not unlike the 1980s movie The Last Unicorn. Sorry, go on.
So in Denmark, they in like the 90s would regularly have maybe, I don't know, like 2,000 children born with Down syndrome per year. And last year they had 19.
Because they're doing genetic because they're like doing genetic screening, right. And like parents are aborting the kids.
Yeah, so it's an interesting article. It's pretty even-handed because it does talk about how hard it is to raise a child with Down syndrome, but it goes into talking to women who've had abortions, who considered having an abortion and didn't, who had one and regretted it, or who had one and didn't regret it. But the most salient or interesting point that it made was that a lot of the access to this kind of testing is only available for people of a certain class. Mm-hmm. And so then when we have less children born with Down syndrome, what ends up happening is we'll have less services for people who have Down syndrome. And the people who are born with Down syndrome will more and more be lower class people. And they'll have less services to rely on. They'll have less acceptance in society. So it's kind of not a great situation, in my opinion.
It's Gattaca. It's you're talking Gattaca here.
Well, it's not as bad. I mean, it's
not as Badica as Gattaca.
Yeah, it's not as Badica.
It's not as Badica, but offloading disability onto the poor has always been the game.
Yeah.
Why it's not personal care workers are not exactly. It's not exactly a middle class job. You know.
I mean, a good answer is like, well, let's make this service available to everyone. Then that's good. Mm-hmm. But the other point they make, that this is one that's more up for debate, is that so the author kind of indicates that it has been over-exaggerated how bad it is to raise a child with Down syndrome, which I don't know. I mean, I just
I don't know. I have family that I say they hard, but definitely they love my cousin with Down syndrome, and he's like an integral part of their life. I'm sure, the difficulty of raising a child, from what I can tell, the family that, my family that has a Down syndrome, everyone has a Down syndrome person in their family. Do you have a Down syndrome person in their family?
Not in my family that is alive. I did, in further back. But
yeah, do you remember your family's I can only speak to generally positive interactions with my cousin.
Yeah, they put that person in a home, unfortunately.
Yeah. That is not so great. That is what will happen more and more, is what you're saying.
Well, there aren't homes like that anymore, really. Maybe there are, but they're expensive. Mm-hmm. So the other thing the article talks about was they actually talked to someone with Down syndrome about the fact that people are trying to make it so that there aren't any more people with Down syndrome, and he's fully aware, and his basic reaction is he just starts crying. So.
Yeah, well, saying that you're wrong and we don't want any more of you it's pretty damning. Pretty fucking horrifying. It's like, the way you are, you're special, you're good, but given the option. It's such a horrible indictment of everything you are. They can understand that. They can understand enough to be existential, which is fucked up.
I can understand the impulse to want to terminate that pregnancy. So
yeah. I'd be like, do I want to put the extra effort? I chopped off my dog's balls because I didn't want to make the extra effort of raising. So I'm already going to castration. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
You're already damned to hell because of that.
Yeah. I did it. I cut off my cute dog's balls.
Imagine if that was like one of the principal tenets in the true religion was like, you're not allowed to neuter any animals, and just like
and like Bob Barker is the devil.
Everyone's in hell except for the people who don't have animals.
Yeah, except for the people with unneutered pit bulls who are like, they ate toddlers but they didn't neuter their dogs, so it was fine.
Yeah.
He's friendly. He's friendly. They don't understand. Pit bulls are gentle creatures. No, I love pit bulls.
Yeah,
I don't mean to talk smack about
pit bull ban is no more in Denver, Colorado, as of this election.
Hell yeah. Wouldn't it be great if there was just an immediate increase of pit bull murders? Just
they're not murders,
all over the city.
Are they? You call them murders. They're not murders.
With these pit bulls, they are. They raise these pit bulls to be like Gacy pit bulls. These pit bulls are hiding little boys under the floorboards. These fucking pit bulls.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, my pit bull, just injected a lot of hookers with meth, and these fucking pit bulls are out of control.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's also speaking of eugenics, people want to eugenics pit bulls as well.
Yeah. Well, there's good eugenics and bad eugenics. I mean, Tay-Sachs disease, the ability to eliminate that is great, because Tay-Sachs involves a baby dying in like 3 months slowly.
Yeah. We can all agree that's some good human husbandry, is eliminating that.
So that's good.
Some good artificial husbandry. Yeah, let's not call it genetic, artificial husbandry. That's the new nickname for it. Here's what I find interesting is, whereas, there's a lot of people in the Down syndrome, and there is a Down syndrome community, but there's not like a culture surrounding it as there is around, say, deaf people. And, like, deaf people, sometimes, I know this because there was a Scrubs episode about it, where sometimes deaf people, if it's possible for their child to hear, to get a surgery so that they can hear, they will say no. Because, we want to raise this child in deaf culture. We believe that, the deaf way of life is beautiful in its own way, and, we shouldn't interfere with that.
And also, there's the whole issue of communication, because if the parents are deaf and they give the child the gift of hearing, then the child will not learn sign language.
Well, they will. Well, they would learn sign language.
Maybe
it might be alienating from their parents. That's for sure.
So
that's another thing to consider. When you're ethnically cleansing, not ethnically cleansing, but when you're cleansing the gene pool, as we are going to be want to do as it becomes easier and easier and easier in the future. Don't take that, please don't audio clip that out of context.
Yeah,
I would really hate
voice.
for the phrase cleansing the gene pool
your voice
to be clipped out of context. I am Jewish and short and sickly. I am not, absolutely not a Nazi. I am the first on the list.
Oh, you're not
I am the first to go.
You're not the first.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not the first. I'm further up the list than you.
Oh, you mean you compared to me? Are we comparing?
Yeah, who would be killed by the Nazis first?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be killed by the
Who would
Nazis.
they get to first?
They wouldn't get me. I'm sorry. This is my admission of privilege. I have what's called... what's the German word for white privilege?
Weissprivilegion?
Weissprivilegion. Weissprivilegion. What if I only referred to white privilege that way? That would be...
Weissprivilegion? Oh, you mean my Weissprivilegion?
It's like
I'm sure. You look up what's the German for privilege. I don't know.
Let's just go with Weissprivilegion.
Let's just go with Weissprivilegion. That's the
funny.
name of the episode. It's Weissprivilegion.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about woke Nazis, you know.
Well, I think there is, some aspects of the alt-right will capitalize on wokeism of a certain stripe in order to do racism, like how obviously Israel's not Nazis, but any authoritarian regime will say, like, if they're like developed and they have some sort of gay rights regime, will say, look how well we treat our gays and look how poorly the Palestinians treat their gays, which clearly gives us the right to fucking nuke them, which clearly gives us the right to punch their children in the face, So I think there is a form of woke identitarianism that can be used for genocidal ambition.
Lots
or like
going
it's
on.
The same.
I said lots going on in the discourse this week. The Jeremy Corbyn stuff resurfaced, so there was a lot of Israel talk going on.
They let him back in.
Well, but then they like didn't they do something else that was insulting though?
I don't remember. That guy's just gonna get kicked around his entire life.
Yeah, that's his new thing is just to get kicked around.
He is truly the British Jimmy Carter.
Who was it that said? Was it Nixon that said you won't have old Dick Nixon to kick around anymore?
I don't know, but I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he was like indignant at the people. I've done so much for you, and just because I bent the rules a little, you fucking abandoned me right away. You pricks. No one ever liked me.
Yeah, Nixon was our greatest president.
Nixon was our greatest president.
He was the best.
Also, don't clip this out of context either, please.
It's called irony, okay? God.
No, we're flirting with the Pepes too much. I sort of, because you know who flirts with the Pepes is the post-left people. They're always posting ironic left groypers. But secretly, they want to be the groypers because they want to be they want to believe in something.
Yeah, everyone needs that. Well, that's the thing, I guess. When you're when you're 100% grounded in material analysis, the human soul needs an ideology. So.
Yeah, you need. It's sort of something that I was thinking about. Maybe something that we've talked about on this podcast before, but one of the lines from Christopher Hitchens in The New Atheists in general I remember is Christopher Hitchens said the most overrated virtue is faith, that is a fucking crazy lie, because faith is the best one. That's the one that keeps you going. That's your ability to believe the irrational thing that everything's going to be okay. That's the most important one. What are you talking about? If we didn't have that one, we'd just all kill ourselves immediately. The belief that things can be better, and whether that manifests as, a god or an ideology or a theory is that's all we got, baby. So, fuck you, dead-ass Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah,
he's all right. I like he's okay, yeah.
He's dead.
Gotta respect the dead.
He's dead.
I lasted longer getting waterboarded than him.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. Hey.
But yeah, the fatuousness of the New Atheists in general, and that evolved into the language of logic pedantry that Ben Shapiro uses, and that people on the right, like Sargon of Akkad, it became that the language of the dominating, everything can be explained with rationality, which is in itself, a form of faith, scientism, and, the liberal Enlightenment idea that we can explain, things can be rationalized always.
So
is
let's pivot to the permanent coup or the permanent revolution. Commandante Donald.
Commandante Donald. Noriega. Donald Noriega.
How's the view from up there? What do you think's actually happening? Is it a coup? Is it a tantrum?
Yeah, I think the reports we heard from inside the Trump camp was that he's just doing a little bit of theater for the people. I think he's tired, even though Trump is like fame hungry. I think he also knows there's just easier ways to be super famous, and I think he's going to do what he always wanted to do from the start, which is Trump News Network. I think that's what's going to be in the works.
Quite a bit of money to start an operation like that, but this is not a disagreement. I just think he's going to latch on to either Newsmax or OAN.
Yeah, I think, that's absolutely, or Washington Times, and get a bunch of money from the Moonies. But yeah, I think he's got to pay off his debts, so he's got to shore up some capital real fast, and I think the best way to do that is to create the alternative news. Alternative to even Fox News, which is a funny development, because Fox News called the election for Biden the Trump people are saying that, Fox News is MSM now, which is very funny.
Yeah, well,
Fox News is mainstream media shills.
They are mainstream media. They're just the other
They are
side.
mainstream media shills, but they were not considered that right up until they called the election for Biden, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's not good. I don't think we're going to have a uncontested presidential election again for a while. So that's bad.
Yeah, it depends on how uneventful the Biden years are.
Right, yeah.
If nothing significant happens with Biden and COVID gets dispersed, I think
it is getting dispersed.
What?
It is getting dispersed.
Yeah.
Do you mean?
Well,
a different
distributed.
Word.
Yeah. If COVID gets, if the vaccine ends up having a significant effect on the spread of COVID, I think it's a slam dunk to re-election. If nothing else happens and he just toes the fucking line.
Yeah, nothing else can happen. He needs to just not do anything.
But for example, it's the Biden strategy. Just wait, just sit and wait. Your interference is only going to affect things negatively. In a way, not unlike Calvin Coolidge. Cool Coolidge. Who is famous for not doing anything.
Well, why don't we listen to this big band tune again that I like?
The day we had old peppermint candy ice cream that we listened to. Peppermint candy ice cream was the name of a proprietor of a local mock shop, and I said, "Hey, peppermint candy, put on the new tune by the Four Alls." They all had an awl in each hand. Now, it's some sort of picking tool. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Biden has to do something about COVID, and the first thing he does, the Republicans are going to flip their shit and be like, he's a tyrant.
Yeah.
My prediction in 2022 is if they take the House back, the Republicans are going to impeach Biden.
You think so, for the Hunter Biden stuff?
Yeah. Or for whatever. Whatever.
I think that's a canny prediction. I'd like to see how that prediction plays out.
They're going to just come up with Biden stole diapers for his adult diaper problem from Venezuela, and he's a socialist, and we're impeaching him, and then they're going to impeach him because that's where we're at.
I guess that's like what the GOP is particularly good at, is like knowing which way the wind is blowing with their base and just immediately conforming to it. Like, now you have QAnon people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, in Congress.
She's like doing push-ups in her office.
Yeah, that she's hot. She's fucking hot.
Gotta get ready for the war.
Not too afraid to admit the QAnon congresswoman is she's a cutie in yoga pants.
No, she's not.
That's all I'm gonna say.
She's not.
I'd fuck her 6 ways. I'd fuck her in the ear.
Hey.
I'd fuck her sideways. I'd fuck her Q style. I'd tie her into a Q.
Somehow,
My penis is the little tip.
I don't think you would. Somehow.
I would do a Suspiria on her. I would use my psychic powers to crumple her up into a little cue ball.
Yeah.
And then I'd, spin it rapidly
This claim
on
is
my
disputed.
penis, on the head of my penis.
So if you tweet the words election and fraud, and it doesn't matter if any other words, Twitter will add a little tag to your tweet that this claim is disputed. So if you tweet
my God.
So if you actually tweet that there's no evidence that the election was a fraud, Twitter will add a little tag being like, this claim is disputed. It's very funny. So in Matt Taibbi news,
Taibbi news.
The latest,
as I've said before, Matt Taibbi is soy Billy Corgan.
The latest person to suffer from incurable Gen X disease.
Despite all my rage, I'm still working at Rolling Stone.
Well, so he was awarded an honorific something from Bard this last graduation.
Bard College.
Because he went to Bard.
He went to Bard College.
Taibbi recently tweeted that the tweet was, "It's nauseating how many educated people are in favor of censorship." And so I think he's talking about how that New York Post article was censored, and also
the Hunter Biden shit,
and then also the general sort of debate around censoring lies, fake news, or fascist content.
Man, I didn't even register that the Hunter Biden shit was censored, because even though I guess they censored the New York Post, all the pictures I saw that day were just Hunter Biden pictures. So it just was like, yeah, but did they really censor it? I don't know. I guess they did. I guess there is a genuine free speech issue with these corporate giants, but, we're not going to have a nationalized Twitter anytime soon.
I don't know how,
Government Twitter.
Sure, it's
let's get on government Twitter today.
It's not great, but I don't think it's new in any way. We had censorship in newspapers before that. I think Taibbi's playing a chump a little bit in that anything new. Nothing new is happening. We've always had censorship.
Yeah, I think another cross podcast shout out, Citations Needed. A lot of it is about media criticism, and they're always talking about... censorship... What is the line between editing and censorship? I think that's really something that we've seen a lot of. People thinking that if you cross the line of editing too much, suddenly that becomes changing the information significantly, to change a few words up or to omit some information that one person deems unnecessary but the other doesn't. What qualifies as that? So the line between concision and information erasure is blurred now. I think because everyone is hypersensitive to the idea that information is being blurred. Back in the day, when a fact was wrong, people would just repeat it confidently forever. That it didn't matter. Yeah. That's the other thing. That's the other thing about, back in the day, Walter Cronkite, there was one news source and people believed the same thing. Yeah, they all believed that that cigarettes gave your baby a nice hickory smoke glow, Having one or two news sources isn't necessarily ideal either, which is why it's weird to me when I see people lamenting the fact that we have this disunity by the fact that we have more accurate information and the ability to dispute lies better.
Right, and the thing that's weird to me about the anti-censorship argument is that generally Taibbi is in favor of a centralized government doing massive programs that would require surveillance and censorship. And so what I started is, maybe it doesn't follow necessarily. You could try to pick apart the argument, but When it
Is
comes,
Matt Taibbi like an authoritarian sort of
no, but I'm
guy?
thinking no. Well, depends.
I guess he's not an anarcho. I've never heard him refer to himself as an anarcho anything.
He's
so
like
I suppose your suggestion would be correct.
He is basically a Bernie guy. So, but the thing about that, this is my train of thought, is that if you do try to implement a nationwide healthcare plan, you need a certain amount of censorship and surveillance.
Explain how.
I guess that's where my argument. I'm trying to connect the dots with censorship. It's more about surveillance, but
surveillance in that it's just another form of identification, and now the government. I mean, the government already has a database of all your health problems, so
do they?
It wouldn't be that different.
What do you mean? What do you mean where's that?
I don't know. You don't think the government can access your chart? You don't think the cops, like if they have a warrant, they can't access your chart?
They're
or
not
something
supposed to because of HIPAA laws.
Yeah.
But when the government so the censorship
they're not supposed to, but the government has access to all your healthcare shit.
No, they don't.
They do it anyway.
They're not supposed to, and
yeah, they're not supposed to, but come on,
yeah,
come
but
on.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference between come on and then it being okay, because you can catch them, and if you catch them, they'll stop. But so the censorship thing comes into more with regulating the social media, which the left often requests regulation of Facebook and Twitter, and the surveillance comes in with the healthcare stuff, because in order to keep...
Well, what would censoring anti-healthcare, anti-socialized healthcare points of view or something like that, or where would the it's harder to see the censorship.
Yeah, the censorship.
I get the surveillance.
I mean, the censorship stuff comes in with the New York Post censoring, it would be more like censoring someone like Hunter Biden maybe not having a government healthcare plan, having a nice healthcare plan, or
I don't know. I don't see it. To me, if you're talking about censoring, maybe it would be like if we were talking about the authoritarian, science health, would it be censoring people that say you should... I would love to censor homeopathic medicine people, actually. I would love to make sure they can't.
Which medicines
I would love to suppress their speech.
Yeah, maybe there are medicines available that they don't want to pay for. But my argument is not necessarily in the specific, but more general, that when you're on the position of wanting a central authority with a lot of power to do things like control everyone's health care insurance, then it's hard to be anti-censorship. I mean, censorship is a tool that they use to control the population.
Yeah.
So,
but I would argue it's just, private corporations collect information,
right,
and, you're cowed to them as much as you are a central government, so
one
just operates more efficiently.
That I don't find necessarily true. We're not as cowed to the corporations as we are to the government, because the corporations don't have the ability to force us or use violence. They don't have the monopoly on violence.
Well, depends on where you are. I mean, Detroit is one example where the Quicken Loans security team effectively has been legitimized to use violence against people. I mean, the communist argument is because, cops only protect the interests of the wealthy, then, yeah, it is the corporations that actually have the true power of the state. It is them that directs the power of the state and not the state itself. So, I don't know. And obviously, what I really am afraid of is just... military directive, I'm just afraid of the militarization of everything. I don't know how I'm getting to that from here, but so I don't know. I have no fear about the government necessarily gathering more information, especially like the U.S. government, which knows everything about you anyway, through metadata and other such nefarious products of the NSA.
I think that's a little overestimated. I mean, first off, we don't know because dear old Glenn Greenwald won't release everything, or didn't release everything. We only released a little bit.
The lost tapes, Glenn.
And I wish we knew more about how effective the NSA is at using this metadata, because one thing I do know that the government has to do is purchase location data from private companies. And they're allowed to do that because they're purchasing it, so they don't need a warrant. But that would indicate that maybe the NSA is having a problem with too much collection. Like they're swamped, basically, with info, which is great.
They're not focusing on the right people. Instead, they're watching, instead they're just
one tactic people could use is to try to create, basically DDoS them and try to flood them with metadata. So
there you go.
Everyone's got to buy 5 or 6 iPhones, and then everyone's got to buy Amtrak tickets that go across.
Buy a penny candy at several thousand convenience stores in your area every day.
So put each iPhone on an Amtrak train and have it crisscross the country. And the NSA, if we all do this, we go from 300 million iPhones to, 2 billion, and we have them crisscrossing the country. NSA's not going to know where anybody is.
There you go. We can beat them at their own game. But won't the Amtrak people just be looking, it's a pile of iPhones in the train again?
No, we dress the iPhones up in a trench coat. And we use Siri, the male voice.
Yeah. No, it's 3 iPhones in a trench coat again. They bought a ticket on Amtrak. They got some sushi down in the basement of Grand Central, and now they're throwing up.
And so in this way, we bolster...
Amtrak goes through Penn Station, not Grand Central.
No, they go through Grand Central when they're repairing Penn Station. In this way, we bolster the economy and save Amtrak. Let's do it. Let's do my plan.
That's Joe Biden's dream.
I'm gonna suggest this to the Biden transition team and not let them know it's an anti-NSA.
Yeah.
What should be the subterfuge? I guess
the subterfuge should be like the iPhones. Here's what you do. You don't even have to hide the iPhones, because the iPhones are just about, hey, don't you miss letters? What if you could send a high-tech letter to your friend? And it would also be about reviving the USPS, but not actually giving more money to the USPS, but giving more money to private corporations. So it's like, we're sending iPhones with messages like, you're great, and I love you, and Pell Grants. And
so that let's go back. I like this idea of which is worse, right? The government or the big corporations. And because that's an interesting dichotomy. You can, that is sort of 2 different types of people: the people who are scared more of the government having too much power, and then people who are scared of the corporations having too much power. And the intersection of governments and corporations. That's why people are so scared of Russia, because Russia has an oligarchy. And, are we an oligarchy too? Some people say yes.
Virtually. I think the thing which... it's not that... I guess I'm not really afraid of government, because at least for a little white boy in Canada in the 90s, the government was quite benign to me. I mean, obviously the Canadian government is more monstrous to Indigenous people and impoverished people, recent immigrants, all the usual suspects. But your experience of a thing informs the thing, The Canadian healthcare system cured my mom's cancer twice for no cost, which is why I have a very high opinion of the Canadian healthcare system. I mean, obviously, the healthcare system didn't cure it. Doctors cured it. But I didn't have to fucking pay for it. And my mom, we weren't bankrupt as a result.
Well, maybe it would have just gone away on its own.
It might have gone away if she just drank more Cambodia from Dr.
Cambodia?
Oz. Yeah, Cambodia. No, I think that's some sort of like quack weight loss medication or something like that.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking
Makes
about.
you shit a lot, like psyllium husk.
Psyllium husk, that's good for your colon. So
it's good for your colon. A lot of gays eat it in order to flush out the colons.
The World Economic Forum recently had a tweet that they had to delete because it was attracting so much negative attention, in which they had a picture of a smiling man captioned with, "In the year 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy."
Uh-oh. People like private property.
Yeah,
that's
they do.
what America's whole thing is.
Well, so the idea basically is like the Uberification of everything. So instead of owning a car, you're going to call an Uber. Instead of, I don't know, owning a computer, you'll be like renting out a computer. You'll be renting out your phone.
Instead of owning food, you'll just eat the food and then they'll pump your stomach.
Well, you'll live
like
in a small apartment with no kitchen, and
okay.
And Uber will deliver your food. So everything is gigified. No one has, and then it'll also apply to your labor. So you won't have a job. You'll have a series of gigs, and you'll rent your labor out. So we're going to have everything is rent based, and that's kind of the idea. And it's this.
But who are the owners though? Just the people that had the things to begin with.
So the World Economic Forum is like the Davos group.
Oh, the spooky people,
and like the Bilderberg people, right? So it's a elite group of people who go to these hoity-toity meetings in Switzerland and decide what's going to happen for the rest of us. That's what the tinfoil hat wearers are worried about in terms of the corporations, the Silicon Valley style Ubers and WeChats, Amazon,
Davos.
Yeah. So all the jobs are just going to be like delivering stuff or I don't know. What do you think about that?
But no one will have Down syndrome. So we're eliminating the class of people that would be happiest with those jobs. Thank you, future. Terrible. No, I'm sorry. That was bad.
Yeah, you're going to get canceled. I hereby cancel you.
Am I going to get canceled for that?
I have hereby
I don't know. What are you
you.
talking about? There's always those fucking weird-ass, like, feel-good stories where this Down syndrome guy runs his own restaurant. Really, his dad runs it, and he serves, people as a waiter. But people love him anyway.
You're hereby doubly canceled. That's another thing. Restaurants. Goodbye, restaurants in America. Goodbye.
No more dining experiences.
I'm waving
Bye
goodbye.
bye Frasier.
Goodbye.
No more Frasiers. Actually, there will be restaurants, but they'll only be for the rich.
Well, or
there will be
chains.
movie theaters. But yes, everything will be Kelsey's. Everything will be Outback Steakhouse.
I mean, that's
McDonald's will fall to Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, no more movie theaters either. Most likely. Also,
they will all be Outback Steakhouses.
You see, Guitar Center went bankrupt.
Guitar Center went bankrupt. People aren't buying physical. It's people like DJs too much.
Yeah, they like their bleep bloop music, man. They don't like Skinner. Yeah. The real
it's because you fail to downsize because you think rock is gonna live forever, and no, it won't. It's studied in schools now, like jazz.
Yeah.
People thought jazz was gonna live Man, I feel like to be like a jazz guy in the 30s. I'll be jitterbugging till I'm dead, And then these rock kids come along. Fuck you, old man. They spit in his eye.
They push him down some stairs.
Yeah. I don't know why I immediately went to the jitterbug. Obviously, jazz achieved perfection with bebop.
Bleep, blop. Bleep, blop.
Not really. Jazz achieved perfection with Sun Ra. Not really. Jazz achieved perfection with Quincy Jones's high-flying nasal quartet, where he used his nose to blow into the assholes of 5 pigs.
Oh, I found a really great National Review of Health thing. I think it's NHIM or something, about case studies of people who have fallen victim to a nefarious prank where you insert a pressurized air blower up someone's butt, and what happens to your insides when you blow very high pressure air up their butt.
that looks so fun in cartoons and the inflation fetish community.
Well, basically what it does is it explodes your asshole. and you can die.
That sounds terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So
of course.
This one guy's 24 and now has a colostomy bag for the rest of his life because his friends pranked him by putting a high pressure air tube, like industrial, and pressed the go button, and they blew up his intestines.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
And
I don't like it.
All 3 case studies were pranks. They were like these perverted...
People like do murderous pranks.
Yeah.
That was not... I guess we did pranks, but like people do the thing where they like put a firecracker in someone's butthole and like while they're sleeping. Yeah. And then that's the prank. Now, there's...
Yeah, you prank someone, you put their hand in whipped cream while they're sleeping, and then they wake them up and they get whipped cream on their face.
You do that, they put it in their mouth, they choke on the whipped cream, they're dead, you're paying their widow.
They're allergic to dairy.
That would be funny. We're just going to do some harmless summer camp pranks, just going to put some shaving cream on your hands.
That's a great horror movie. Every single prank you do, they're allergic to something in the prank and they die.
Yeah. Yeah, the prank war descends into madness. Yeah. That's a good premise. Deadly prank war. We're pitching genius moves over here.
Let's pitch some movies for the...
Let's pitch some movies.
That we get to rent out the movies in our rent economy on Netflix.
Yeah, here's some rental movies for you. So you're driving along the highway. What's that you see? It's a deer, but he's walking on his hind legs like a man. And what's he got in his hands? It's an iPhone. He's thumbing around and he's not paying attention. You say to the deer, "Hey guy, if you're walking on these roads at night, you should not be thumbing around your fucking phone." And the deer says, "Fuck you. I know what I'm doing. I'm fucking drunk as shit right now. I'm gonna beat your ass. You go in the road. You and the deer are having it out. Its hooves are very hard. It's got a longer reach than you. Uses its antlers to poke you in the eye. You're standing there. You're trying to remember your judo training, but you're not skilled. It was all for naught. It was more of just a thing where you wanted to feel the temporary rush and power, that you get in a gi to pretend to shadow box against an opponent. And now that you're actually boxing against a motherfucking, 6'5" ass stag, pummeling you with his goddamn hooves, you're nothing. You realize you're just a little dick bitch.
So what do you have to do? You have to get an air pressure tank and just blow up his intestines.
Just blow up the deer's intestines by sticking it out, in one fell swoop. You're a bloody pulp. You're on the road, but the deer's gloating. The deer's, circling around you. He's being a dick. You get to your trunk and you get your handy fucking air pressurizer with a specialized nozzle designed to slip into assholes more effectively.
Yeah, let's remake No Country for Old Men where Javier Bardem is putting it up.
Hey there, friendo.
Yeah. Please bend over.
I don't remember any of that movie. I remember he says friendo and he's got a haircut and it's bleak. And Woody Harrelson gets shot.
Yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones is just like, I think he says, "This is No Country for Old Men."
Yeah, he says it in the movie.
Hey!
They said the thing in the movie.
They said the title in the movie. Like, we are the Avengers.
No Country for Old Men. That movie should have been called Old Bitches Can't Hack It.
Yeah.
Fucking shit. That movie should have been called Boomer Remover. Bye-bye. Anton Chigurh, original Boomer Remover.
Man, the original Boomer Remover, COVID is the second one. But yeah, the mostly boomers getting it. Boomers and older. It's
boomers still it hasn't affected the young people as people thought were going to happen.
We got a lot of boomers here.
There's too many boomers. There's too many boomers.
There's too many boomers. We're getting a boomer.
They're growing a lot. They're growing like tumors. No. I got that's the premise for a movie is Boomer Tumor.
Many such cases.
Jenny the millennial was mad at her boomer mom, and then she developed a cancer that wouldn't stop saying boomer shit. Like, how do I open PDFs and shit?
You know the
it's
meme
just constantly ringing at her head. The Boomer Tumor.
You know the meme that's just many such cases.
What is that?
That's because I think Trump said it at one point.
Many such cases.
I would just want to, like, that COVID-19, many such cases. Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
Many such cases. Boomer Tumor. Many such cases. What else would the Boomer Tumor say to you? Hey, man, the Beatles were the best band ever, and John Lennon was a prophet. Do they love John Lennon, or is, like, disillusionment with John Lennon more of a feature
everybody
of
loves John Lennon. He wrote that one tune. He wrote that one song. Hold on, don't say it.
Imagine there's a penis.
What is the name of the song?
It's easy if you can.
What is it called?
No balls below us, above us, just your ham. Fuck me in the asshole. Come inside my ass, fucking jizzing me. Imagine I have no teeth. It's easy if you can.
I love that. I love when there's no teeth on John Lennon, and I can
toothless John Lennon blowjob.
Wow. Hey, we should not disrespect John Lennon here on the day of the anniversary of the death of JFK.
Is it the anniversary of the death of JFK?
Yeah, I've been getting into arguments with historians on Twitter about telling them that the CIA killed JFK, and they're like, no. Bet you have. So this is what happened. The guy was like, I bet you haven't even read the Warren Commission. And I was like, oh, you mean like Robert Kennedy, who also refused to read the Warren Commission? And then I linked him to a New York Times page saying RFK refuses to read Warren Commission. And his reply to me was, RFK was a conspiracy theorist too. And I was like, he was the Attorney General. He was going to run for president and then was also murdered by the CIA.
Yes. Wait, what is your? So you think Kennedy was murdered by the CIA?
100%, man. Yeah.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
You don't. One of the theories is that it was accidental and they just took advantage of it.
That's the Matt Christman theory. That's the Cushbomb theory.
Well, do you not believe the lone gunman theory either?
No, it was. There was a different gunman.
There was not. So
there were two. I don't know if there was one or two.
Famously, the trajectories didn't match up.
Yeah, I don't think
from where Kennedy was shot, it looks like he was shot from behind, from the ground, not from a great height.
Yeah,
the angle of the bullets was such.
I don't think it was Lee Harvey Oswald at all. I think he was a patsy.
The theory is that he was trying to assassinate the governor of Texas.
I don't think he had a gun up there.
You don't think he had a gun up there?
No.
Whoa, you're blowing my mind. Wait, why don't you think he had a gun?
I think the gun was planted. They didn't let the police didn't let anybody in for a while. I mean, I guess that's normal, but I think they had ample opportunity to plant the gun. The gun he was supposed to have used is notoriously inaccurate. Lee Harvey Oswald was a terrible shot in the Army. He had a CIA handler who basically set him up.
Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, and it was Chelsea Handler. And that's
Lee, baby.
That's what tipped us off. There's the last name. It's the same. Yeah. It's the word of what she is.
She's unpleasant. Is she? I don't know. She's just not
naked.
She's not on my radar.
She got, I think, naked or something before the election to try to tell people to vote. She had a weird week before the election. She posted a photo of herself naked with just covering her boobs, and also like tried to ask Andrew Cuomo out.
That's hot.
And he rejected her.
No,
he rejected
that's
her.
not a weird week for Chelsea Handler. That's her brand.
It's weird.
It's weird. She's a mess, but she owns it, you know.
Like, yeah. Well, Cuomo is just a nutbag.
Yeah, he is a nutbag. That clip of him chewing out the guy for asking whether schools were open.
Are you
it was very funny.
A dunce? Can you not
what
understand?
What are you saying? Are you a dumb man? Are you... I am Mario. No, I'm not Mario. I am Andrew, the son of Mario. He was Super Mario. He had a brother named Luigi, and you want to doubt that I am the Prince of the Mushroom Kingdom? No good, sir. I am Andrew.
I mean, the rules are like the reporter was asking a totally justified question because New York now has these insane rules, like that are impossible to keep track of. Like they have like whether or not the schools are open is based on a mathematical equation that has probabilities and two versions. There's two different mathematical equations. There are some people who like...
Look, if you're too stupid to figure out math, then maybe you shouldn't be a little stupid fucking baby all the time, you dumb fucking journalist.
Right, so Cuomo's like, are you an idiot? If you take the averages from all of these places and then divide by this number, and then you'll clearly get 2.5%, which means, you fucking idiot, that we don't need to close the schools.
Listen, you absolute fucking clod.
It's like, damn.
Listen, you goddamn piece of diarrhea besmirched fafala. I'm gonna chop off your dick with my letter opener, okay?
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm doing an Adam Sandler voice for Andrew Cuomo, but it fits.
Sandler's just gonna play Cuomo in the movie about COVID, of which there will be an interminable amount. Can you imagine?
And he hooks up with Winona Ryder, but he gets angry at people for no reason, and he has like absurd strength.
There's gonna be so many movies about COVID. Cuomo's gonna be like the hero in most of them.
Fauci's gonna be. Fauci is a hero to a certain class of people.
He's fine.
Garcetti is a hero to
the
a
mayor
fucking
of LA?
Collection of weird libs. Yeah, the LA guy. Because they credit him for also doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, well...
but he did it! He did it!
Who knows, man? What's the right thing to do? I say mask mandates, no lockdown. That's what I say.
Mask mandates, no lockdown. There should probably be a lockdown, bruh.
Nah, bruh.
Bruh,
no. What about I want the restaurant. I need
You
it.
do takeout. Just takeout.
That's not enough.
Just gotta subsidize the restos, you know.
Oh, no way. We would never do government. We only subsidize...
We need to get Linda McMahon on it. She's the small business czar.
Well, that's
Linda McMahon loves restaurants.
So what's your prediction? Are we going to have anything from the government ever again?
Yeah, I think there's a pretty likely thing that Biden's going to do another stimulus thing.
Only if he wins. If we win a Senate, like 2 Senate seats in Georgia, that's the only way.
I think it's a popular enough mandate that I think you could swing the.
Well, then why wouldn't they do it? Then if they cared about it being a popular mandate, they would have done it. When Trump could have used it to win the election. I mean, do you think they didn't do it to throw Trump under the bus?
I think they didn't do it because I think that's one possibility, because I do think that, you know, there is a certain group of the Republican people that even though they use Trump, they don't really like him, and they would rather he be out in favor of someone more predictable and manageable. And the other thing about it is I think, you know, we ascribe the GOP too much power, too. Sometimes, occasionally, they can be just as incompetent as the Democrats and stick to a pointless ideological issue against the better ideas of realpolitik. Because if Trump had passed another stimulus bill, he would have won.
Yeah,
he would have fucking won, probably.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He could have done just a
I
little
think
bit.
you can either... Yeah. I think you could chalk it up to incompetence.
Yeah, it might be incompetence. I mean, as with all things, it's a bunch of different things that all creating a confluence of events that we call life.
Yeah, but I think if Biden and the Senate around him doesn't pass a stimulus, it's going to be really bad for everybody. I think
clearly what we need is a stimulus for Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Ford, yes, General Motors, and one
Obama
guy,
styles,
and then one poor person, one lucky lottery winner. I think
that was, the first round of super disillusionment with Obama was the stimulus package and how it was pitched as this gift to ordinary Americans when it was just plain. Everyone could see on its face that it was just this corporate welfare package.
Yeah, well, it was called TARP because when it's raining, what you want is you don't want a house. No, fuck that. You want to be outside in the rain, and all you have is a tarp to put over you to safeguard you from the elements.
We'll call it fucking tarp. Those goddamn rubes in Tennessee love their goddamn fucking Bass Pro Shops equipment. Yeah. Fucking rubes.
So the Biden plan...
I like the idea of hyper elitist Obama just being openly disdainful. I think they're fucking scum.
Well, we should talk about Obama's
memoirs. Oh yeah, those are great.
I read Foucault and Marx for the pussy. I just wanted to get some. Did you see that?
It was lucky Michelle was a dum-dum. She didn't read any of that shit. Yeah. I saw the fact that he said something that he read Foucault and Marx to get with an ethereal bisexual.
Yeah.
And so the phrase ethereal bisexual has been making the round.
And then he just got friend-zoned.
Yeah. So I understand, Jennifer, that you like the panopticon and you like to eat puss. How about giving the old wheelberry a try?
You can call me Wheelberry, because
me Wheelberry.
That's the move. I can stand on my hands, and you can drive me around, holding my feet.
Yeah, you can drive me around. You can lift up my legs and eat up my asshole. That's called the wheelberry.
Oh man!
And while I'm doing it, I go vroom, vroom. See how fast we could go around the room while you're eating out my ass.
Whoa, that sounds fun, man.
Yeah, convince your friends to do a wheelberry, invented by Barack Obama.
Yeah,
famed sex pervert Barack Obama.
You got to salute when you're doing it too.
Was I talking about this? No, I think I was talking about this with someone else. But the idea that Obama, he never had any rape allegations. Sure, he's an elitist Bohemian Grove type of guy, but I believe he's where he's at the Eyes Wide Shut party. There's the pedophile room, and Obama's like, nope. Not for me. I'll abstain. See, it was around me all the time. I could have done it whenever I wanted. Just wasn't my thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think he's a sex freak. I did see you tell someone on Twitter to look up a dossier about Margaret Thatcher.
The Westminster File.
Yeah,
you're talking about?
What's going on with the Westminster Files?
Oh, the Westminster File was just this widespread investigation of pedophiles in British Parliament. One prominent one was a member of the Liberal Party. I can't remember his name at this point, but, there was just this massive collection of information, including damning evidence of a lot of Conservative MPs as well. It was passed to Margaret Thatcher, who quashed it.
She queefed it.
But it basically, a lot of people posit that the information contained basically says all of her cabinet was pedophiles. They were all diddling kids on the reg, And it was basically as people theorize, this sort of bizarre hazing ritual among the elite where, you show you can keep the biggest secret of all.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's that fucked up.
Kind of like Nexium, in a way.
Yeah.
Collateral.
Yeah, collateral. Keith Raniere knew what he was doing.
Oh,
he knew how to get at people.
So how's your plan going to get into federal jail with old Keith? Is it progressing?
Well, I have been trying to do homemade ecstasy and distribute it across state lines. The problem is I'm just getting pop rocks. Just keep accidentally making pop rocks.
Oh man, I would love some homemade ecstasy. It's like you don't really know what attributes it's gonna have. It's like, oh, I hope this batch is a little better than the last batch that made me turn blue. It was mostly colloidal silver.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't make the old ecstasy out of colloidal silver. Grandpa's old-timey, good-fashioned ecstasy. We put the in DMA. Or something fucking stupid. Yeah, Pepperidge Farm brand ecstasy.
DMA. Yeah. DMA.
Artisanal ecstasy. Like ecstasy you can see being made by hand, like at Cold Stone Creamery.
Oh, I'd love
Except it's Cold Stone ecstasy.
Love that Cold Stone Creamery. Love how they fold the candy in to the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Use those cold paddles.
I want an anti-griddle. Has there been I would like to see a movie death where somebody's face is cold fried on an anti-griddle.
You mean stuck to like a very cold surface?
Or it's like, I don't know, if you expose bare human skin to an anti-griddle, what happens?
Is an anti-griddle a very cold griddle?
Yeah, anti-griddle is a cold surface.
Yeah, don't you stick to it?
I guess you would stick to it. Your skin would probably rip off.
Your skin rips off.
Yeah,
I think
that'd be cool.
I think that's in like some like movies about Stalingrad or something where
somebody gets frozen to like a tower. And
they fall asleep on the ground and their face gets frozen into the ground, and then the Nazis are like, "Get up!" and then they're like force him to get up, and he rips his skin off of his face.
That's no good.
And then he's like a two-faced guy, and then the Nazis are freaked out because they're freaked out by it, so they run away screaming, and then he sits back in a corner and just slowly bleeds out.
Well, with the way that communism has infected academia, everyone's a Stalingrad now. Yeah, that's my Tucker Carlson joke.
Tucker.
Good old Tucker.
Tucker's
dialing it back a little. I think he realized.
That's good.
Yeah. Maybe not. Why are you so afraid? You expressed fear of Tucker Carlson gaining political clout.
Well, because I think he would use it for bad things. But I don't know. I mean, I think he might be smart enough to know that it's better to just make a lot of money than try to be president. And this is connected to a point I wanted to get to, which is like to keep Trump from running in 2024. What I would suggest is we drop the lawsuits against him and make him get a job. Not make him, but convince him to get a job where he's making a shit ton of money. And just have him make...
We just have to renew The Apprentice.
Yeah, just renew The Apprentice, have him make money, and just be happy making money.
The problem is NBC won't do that because they got to take the MSNBC principled stance. They're not going to renew. They're not going to do The Apprentice.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we got to get Fox, I guess, to renew The Apprentice. It's got to move to Fox.
What I am worried about is that he's like president in exile for 4 years, and then he's like, "Now I'm going to take back what's rightfully mine," and then he wins.
Nah, he's not that. I think if he can find fame in an easier path to that, I don't think he's got the heart for a military coup. I'm not
talking about a military coup. I'm just saying he's gonna run for president again in 4 years and might have a shot if he's keeping his base pissed off about the stolen election.
Yeah, especially if he starts his own news network in that time and then runs for president as well.
Yeah, or just gloms onto one or.
Could happen, but I don't know. I think Trump is traumatized from this experience. I don't think he wants to go back. I think he's probably just like, they're going to try and make me go back. I have to please these fans. These terrible people. They come at me with their dirty hands. I think it's just so evident that he hates the people that gave him power, and he doesn't want any part of it anymore. But maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I'm probably underestimating the massive ego this guy has.
Yeah, I think he's got such a big ego that he does want to... I think he just wants to keep being president. It's a hard thing to give up. He can do anything he wants, basically.
Kinda, but he's also under way more increased scrutiny, which I think, when he was just a businessman, he enjoyed more of an air of infallibility. especially when he was on The Apprentice, where he is like God. He is made to be the chooser, the decider, he who points the finger. And because he's just a character, you don't actually have to look into his credentials or his, morality. But once you become president, which is, wrapped up in public perception of these things, you're open to that. And I think Trump is maybe more sensitive to hatred than people might think he is. Like, people think he just brushes all that shit, but I think he just powers through it by just railing Adderall and doing Xannies all the time.
Oh, I would love to rail some Adderall, man. Railing it, huh? That's where you
snort. He snorts Adderall.
Oh, okay. I thought railing was a butt thing.
It could be that as well.
That's
Maybe
when you're getting railed by Adderall. I get railed by Adderall.
See, what you got to do is you got to put the Adderall in a pressurized air canister and explode your intestines.
Yeah.
I
shoot the Adderall up my butt with pressurized air to get it all the way up there. Ooh.
Bro, it was a prank.
It's a prank, bro.
Can you imagine having to explain that to, like, the parents of the kid who has a colostomy?
Yeah.
It was a prank, Mrs. Stevenson. We didn't know.
We didn't know that it would literally explode his butthole.
Oh, my God. Maybe that's how Trump is going to go. We're all going to go like Stan Shearer. Am I going to go like Stan Shearer? That's a song in the Trump musical.
Oh,
that's what he's got to do. It's got to be Hamilton, but Trump.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel is going to write a Trump musical. And, God.
The white equivalent to the white supremacist equivalent to Lin-Manuel Miranda, Linwood Mariner. I'm Linwood Mariner, and I am here to write the rap musical of Trump. Donald Trump, he's not taking no dumps. This is Linwood Mariner.
Well, I was thinking about signing up for Parler to get a load of the alternate...
To gawk?
To gawk at the
Why?
alternate
You can just
reality.
go to Poll for free.
No, it's not, because Poll is different and Nazi
Do they
shit.
use their real names on Parler?
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on 4chan. It's sad there.
That's what was funny that happened this week is Kyle Rittenhouse got bail.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the funny part. The funny part is that the MyPillow guy and Ricky Schroeder, television's Ricky Schroeder.
Who was he again?
He's just on everything. He was like on NYPD Blue. He was on Dexter. He was a child actor. He was known for this. There's this clip of him in this television movie called The Champ, where he's this little, like, blue-eyed, blonde-haired kid, just like this, like, little Aryan perfect child. And the movie is about this boxer getting killed, and his son is, Champ, why would you get up, Champ?
Mm-hmm.
Champ! And it's little Ricky Schroeder. And it's such a horrifyingly moving performance from this little kid that they, like, actually show it in psychological studies in order to evoke sadness in people. Which I think is, maybe sort of informs people about the character of Ricky Schroeder. I don't think child acting de facto fucks you up, but I think a certain aggressive form of child acting can fuck you up.
Yeah, well, I guess he
maybe it did.
He gave $2 million bail.
Yeah. He's with Scott Baio as a Republican former child actor. Steven Crowder is classic. We also have Frankie Muniz up there.
Frankie Muniz is the man.
Frankie Muniz is the man.
He's
Can't
great.
Remember shit. Has so many strokes.
Yeah, he can't remember anything about Malcolm in the Middle.
It's very sad.
It's funny.
But he's also a Republican.
He is?
Which, maybe you can blame... Yeah, he's a big Republican. He lives in Arizona, and he's buddies with Joe Arpaio, or, like, does praiseworthy statements to Joe Arpaio.
Oh, okay, maybe I'll have to revise my statement. I didn't know that Frankie Muniz was a Republican.
You didn't know that Frankie Muniz had, like, big Republican takes?
No, because he doesn't have any takes on his Twitter account. He's just got, like, nice guy takes.
Yeah, well, I think he deleted his crazy takes. I think he might be getting more strokier with it. I shouldn't say that. I don't mean to speculate about
right.
Frankie Muniz's health.
He's on the right.
Okay. Yeah. Isn't he out and proud?
No, he's married. I mean, sorry, you can't. That's that's pre 2008 me talking. He's married to a woman.
Oh. Oh. No, I meant that out and proud conservative, not an out and proud homosexual.
Oh, yeah. That's such a weird thing with me, that like the gay marriage thing was such a big deal at like Catholic school growing up that I still will sometimes say, no, he's married to, is he gay? Which is just like this cognitive dissonance that lives on within me that I haven't.
It's in there deep.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like, you know, the Catholics were horrified of gay marriage.
Yeah, except, yeah, I guess they're still horrified. They still haven't changed their line.
They're horrified to this day.
Even though, like, the Pope recently said something vaguely nice about gay people, but it's always been their line that
that Pope is crafty. That Pope, I attribute that Pope to ecumenical mistranslation, which he kind of does on purpose. He says something, because this Pope's whole deal is to, like, pretend to be more lenient and nice to get people
Pope
back.
Aggressive.
Yeah, he wants to get people back in the church because their primary thing they're worried about is that people are leaving the church.
Everybody is SJW cucks now, and we have to appeal to them, or else we will lose our religion. So there are many people that want to be Catholic and also woke, and we have to appeal to these stupid people.
I mean, really, what he said was like we should have peaceful coexistence with them. With gay people, and instead it gets translated as civil unions. Yes, civil, and as in like not uncivil relations. But they allow it to be translated as civil unions, and then everyone is like, "Oh, I'm going to start going to church again." I can go back to church now. I can go back to giving money giving money to church now.
Yeah, I got. For some reason, I just angrily tweet on former colleague Derek Sloan, current Canadian MP. I tweet on his Twitter page. And I know he doesn't pay attention, and I know he doesn't manage his own Twitter page. Or what? Maybe he does, actually. Probably doesn't have that much of a team being the MP from Leeds and Grenville County. But... but yeah, one of his... he's got a lot of bad takes, but... one is the opposition to Bill C6, which is really interesting. So C6 is a bill which in Canada, which will make the criminal code, it will revise the criminal code such that conversion therapy is banned. And we all agree this is a good thing, right? Conversion therapy, where you convince gay people, you pray the gay away, you pray the trans away, you pray the queer away in general. We all agree that's bad for people, right? Seems like a no-brainer, right? And what's interesting about Derek is that he knows that the gay issue is lost. So the argument they're making now is actually derived from, like, the Abigail Schreier thing, where it's like, we need certain types of conversion therapy because lots of gay youth are being convinced that they're trans. And we need conversion therapy to stop gay youth from being trans. Maybe this was just a turf that I was arguing with.
That's not going to work. I mean, they've already lost the battle. That's funny, though. That's never going to work. I mean, because they're having to... Now they're saying, well, gay people are okay, but what's going to... We're worried that now there aren't going to be any more gay people because the trans people are going to turn all the gay people trans. Like how all the gay people turn straight people gay, and now the trans people turning gay people trans. It's like one. That's how this thing works. That's how it's all put together. That's how they.
It's and that's the weird thing about TERFs to me. So like a lot of people who I see put forth this, and I got banned. I was in free speech jail because I said to this TERF person, I hope you end up in turf hell where you have to eat Jermaine Greer's spiked pussy for eternity.
On Twitter, did you get banned?
I thought it was... What?
You got banned on Twitter?
I only for 12 hours.
Yeah, I got one of those too recently because I was threatening to tar and feather some Michigan representatives who are trying to steal the election.
You see, that's an actual threat, though. So I didn't
say I was going to. I said you should be
There you go.
And so now
I would like it if you suffered.
Well, now what I've resorted to do, I just found a picture of the last guy to be tarred and feathered who looks fucked up, and now I just post that guy's picture on my Michigan representatives that I don't like, their Twitter pages, so they can just see what it's like. Anyway, go on.
There you go.
You were putting
images aren't speech,
right? You were putting I'm not making any threats. I'm just being like, oh look, this guy was tarred and feathered. That's
this guy
interesting.
was also tarred and
wow,
feathered, yeah.
Look, here's a picture.
Just put pictures of the Abu Ghraib guy.
Yeah.
The Abu Ghraib hood guy.
So you were putting Twitter free speech jail.
Yeah, well, just for insulting TERFs. The TERF reported me.
Yeah.
And I kept shrieking at them on Twitter, calling them bigoted, and for some reason that made them not like me.
Yeah, well...
I tend to go ham on these people just because the thing that I find... One of the things that I find most rage-inducing is when straight people try and pit queer people against each other. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it works a lot of the time also makes me fucking filled with vomitous hatred. Because it's just, we've always been supported. Gay people have benefited from the support of trans people from the very beginning. And because we were slightly more normative, we got out of the hole first. So it's like to abandon them just because we're out of the hole, seems fucking ludicrous and awful. And I don't like it when people try and sow discord among a community which doesn't need that sort of thing.
Well, one thing about people's sexuality is they're always trying to go out and convince other people to change their sexuality to mirror the one that you have. And the right does that with... Well, that's their tactic not only with, like, the gay and queer communities. That's their tactic with
they appeal to
minorities.
homo nationalism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Candace Owens bid. Yeah. You fancy black people should hate the poor black people. It's as simple as that.
Oh, well, and with different minorities in general, like they'll pit.
Yeah, fancy Latinos.
Right.
They came out weighing, even if they're not fancy, they think of themselves as the fancy Latinos. So they came out in favor of the bad Latino against the bad Latinos.
There's always,
Did you see that was the most? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. The craziest stat that I saw was, like, I thought the Latino support for Trump was just limited to fucking Cubans in Florida, but did you see how ham border Latinos? Like Texas border Latinos went for Trump. It was crazy. Like they basically everyone in like every Latino in a border county in Texas voted for Trump, which was fucking interesting.
I don't know how to explain
because once again, it's easily explained. Fancy Latinos versus the bad Latinos. We immigrated here correctly, you didn't, and you're making us look bad. So we hate you. Pure.
I think part of it also is that they're in higher rates Christian, a little more Christian than maybe the white people.
Yeah, a little more puritanical. What you're saying?
Well, they're probably more anti-abortion. They're probably more traditional family structure. So
yeah,
they're more inclined to the Republicans for that reason.
Yeah, I guess they don't buy Joe Biden's Catholicism.
Yeah, they are going to.
He's a Catholic,
they're
right?
probably going to excommunicate Joe Biden. They want to.
I want to go back to your prediction of they're going to try and impeach Biden with Hunter Biden shit. Because I think that's interesting, and I think that's likely.
Either that or the stealing the election stuff. I'm not sure which one.
I don't think if Trump decides to run again, he will get the nomination because there is no counter to him in the party. There's no representative of the previous ruling Republican class that strikes any sort of inspiration in anyone. Even though Trump, fucked up a lot, like his, you can see from the stats, his voter share with everyone from white males went up by significant amounts. So... And if the question, can Trump win back the white males? Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, can he win back the educated people? Some of the educated people, I think, would be...
I think he can... It depends on what happens with Biden. If the economy tanks under Biden, yeah, he could fucking win back the educated people.
Well, if they don't want the economy to tank, he's been appointing the wrong people. or signaling.
Educated people are also rich people.
Yeah, Biden has been signaling he's going to appoint like a sort of a budget hawk guy.
Budget hawk guy.
So like an austerity guy. So no, and
that seems pretty bad for the economy at this point.
Yeah, well, we need. I mean, depends.
Isn't the general rule when like no businesses can operate because of outside circumstances, you print the money? Like, isn't that just orthodoxy? I thought that was orthodoxy.
Yeah, that's what we need to be doing. It's what we have been doing, although Mnuchin has, like, hobbled that capability on purpose to handicap Biden going in. So Mnuchin has like, basically took back all the available money and has shut down some of the federal lending programs that they enacted, the emergency federal lending programs. So it's not good. It could be, who knows, though, maybe it's coordinated, because people are scared that Biden will go the austerity route because our debt is ballooning. And really, the whole thing with that Keynesian economic stuff is like, yes, that is orthodoxy. However, there is a point at which it becomes bad, and the whole trick is just like not doing it after that point, which would be when we really start to devalue our currency. So it's just hard. Like, people, budget hawks on the right are always crying wolf that now we're about to do it. Like, now we're about to do it, and China's going to adopt the gold standard and overtake us, and then we're all going to be pegged to the what is it, the yuan, the yen, yuan. But that,
yuan? No, I'm off.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we can just keep on printing money as long as we don't give it to people.
We just put it in a big pile and watch it grow
right.
steadily.
Well, I've been pretty convinced that we could do UBI up to a point until we give UBI to everyone until we get rid of the debt. I'm in favor of a debt jubilee, but if people want to do it...
You've expressed that before.
If people want to do it via UBI, it's basically the same thing. It's just done over time. But it won't create inflation because the debt is not for goods. So there won't be like inflation on goods and services because the debt already it's negative space, and we're just filling that in. And then once we get back to level, then you got to cut it off. And the problem is we would not politically be able to cut it off.
But Americans hold so much debt that you could just keep them on UBI forever, and their just interest will keep increasing.
Actually, no. I think what I read was we could give everyone $15,000 a year for about 4 years. I think, because I think the average amount of debt that people hold is like $60,000.
Yeah,
but.
Wouldn't it be funny if they did UBI and just, like, the only industry that becomes anything is Funko Pops? Like, people just spend their neat bucks on Funko Pop. And they have the giant Funko Pop factories, and everything is mediated through Funko Pops, and we have Funko Pop health insurance. And, Funko, they become like Marriott, and there's a bunch of corrupt Funko Pop retirement homes.
Yeah, Funko Pop should vertically integrate. They control everything. They get into lobbying. Yeah. There's a Funko Pop on the president's desk.
I like the idea that everyone gets UBI and they just immediately all turn into basement-dwelling neckbeards.
Oh my god! Yeah.
The free government money. I need to buy an anime waifu pillow now. Like people that were like, and it happens to everybody, including like. I'm an old man. I lived on this ranch for 40 years. I don't know what any Japanese cartoon is, but I got this money, and now I have to fuck my waifu.
I love the idea of the old guy, very old anime guy. So, in 50 years, it's going to be like 60 years, I guess. Are there 40-year-olds who are really into anime in this country?
40-year-olds who are really... There are 60-year-olds who are into anime.
Think?
Yeah, because anime first became into nerd vogue in the mid-'80s, like old heads would probably be watching stuff like Urusei Yatsura or like Space Battleship Yamato or like Macross, like old heads would probably be watching that shit from the 80s. So if you were like a 20-something in 1985, so if you were 20 in 85, how many years has it been since 85? To 30. 35. No.
Yes.
Yes. 35. So, yeah, you could easily have like 55-year-old, and I'm sure there were 30-year-olds that liked that shit back then too.
Well,
so.
that'll be weird. Sure. That will be. Won't that be weird?
Or that, well, yeah, instead of talking about, we had people back then, we had Lillian Gish and Clark Gable. Instead, we're talking about, we had the foundational voice for Goku was Sean Schemmel in the West. He was the one that really established the character. The Majin Buu arc, as we know it. Or like Alzheimer's patients who... You can only revive them by playing like Benny Goodman music. Now you can only reply them by playing Zahan Koku, that's in the da. And they start, their dead eyes start lighting up and they start moving around and they start saying, Shinji, the Human Instrumentality Project.
That is extremely depressing for some reason. I guess it's good though.
Everything, because it's things that were once, new and cutting edge and flying into the old decrepitude of history.
Well, I mean, there's not going to be 2 more generations. We're dying out. Our birth rates are plummeting. So
that's maybe we'll, doesn't mean they can't rise again,
Who the
doesn't mean we can't.
The birth rate?
See, maybe that's like I was having this COVID conspiracy theory today. What if this whole thing of like this whole COVID is manufactured because they're trying to get people to fuck. What they do is they get everyone really antsy and isolated for like 18 months.
No,
and then
it's making...
when they finally release us all in the summer, it's going to be a bacchanal.
Oh.
We're just going to be like...
Oh, you mean after? Yeah.
We're going to be coming every... Yeah, after. Yeah, because they're going to like... it's like edging, but edging on a continent-wide scale. So we'll have all this pent-up fuck energy.
Yeah, the CIA.
And there's going to be like a second baby boom.
CIA's going around poking pinprick holes in condoms all over, wearing the pointy hats.
Yeah,
I saw.
But that's Matt Iglesias' thing. 1 billion Americans.
Well, he wants to do that through immigration. That's his idea.
I see.
Which is like...
Not through fucking.
No.
Lame. I thought the book was about how we needed to fuck more in America.
Nope.
Fuck you, Matt Iglesias. Lame.
I mean, I don't... I go back and forth on immigration. I mean, ideologically, yeah, we should have like allow immigration. It is not great overall for other reasons, but ideologically we should have it.
I mean, in current system, many problems crop up with immigration that affect livelihood of people in country. But if we have true international standard of communism, as theorized by Maoist third worldist and other such, maybe we can get rid of the problems that come with having countries with unique standards of living. Because that's really where the problem with immigration is. It's like the fact that you have countries with different standards of living and people aspire to be in the countries with the better ones, which creates economic imbalances in both. So if there is no disparate standard of living, then that wouldn't be a problem.
But doesn't that just result in like neither highs nor lows and just kind of make it worse in general?
No, the idea of like a universal standard of living, I don't think would result in highs or lows. I don't think it would. I'm not even suggesting, we get rid of the wealth inequality. We can have some people, if they work harder, they can get a fancier toothbrush. They can get fancier burlap clothes,
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to be a communist fucking paradise, you bitches. I don't know. I'm not anything. I just think that we deserve, in a world of extreme wealth, we deserve more entitlement for the lower classes. That's all I want. Just slightly more UBI, some housing, maybe a right to food and health. I guess I'm asking a lot here, but compared to the current system. But I think all of these things are commensurate with what should be the modern era. But we're still stuck in this sort of 19th century industrial workhouse mindset.
It's hard to change eras. You don't get to just change eras like easily.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still Dickens. We're still on Dickens, basically. We haven't evolved past that shit.
I don't know.
And, yeah. It's not the Dickensian aspect, but the dick in your assensian aspect of it.
Well, that's all we got time for this week. Tune in next week, same time, same place, House of Decline. Follow us on Twitter for all you 6 people out there.
Yeah, you can follow me at Naomi Decline now. I'm using my House of Decline pseudonym.
Yeah, and I, if I'm not in Twitter jail, Snapdeus on Twitter. But happy Thanksgiving. Don't kill your parents.
Thanksgiving Super Bowl.
Don't
being eaten by your family.
Don't kill the old people. Bye-bye.
Bye.